Hello, it's Father Samuel Hakeem with a word of hope for the 22nd Sunday in Ordinary Time. Well, our readings, the first reading from Sirach as well as our gospel passage from Luke, talk a lot about humility today. Humility, it's a great virtue, but one which is often misunderstood. I think sometimes we approach humility in the sense of, I should make myself small. I should hide who I am for the sake of the greater good, for the sake of God's goodness or my own salvation or what have you. And in doing so, we kind of just pack away who we are, pack away our gifts, and hide them, quite frankly. This is not real humility. Humility, the root of the word humility, in a Semitic language, it's the same root as humus, which we might know from that great bread dip, hummus, but really which means ground. So to be humble, to have that virtue of humility, is to be grounded or rooted in who we are. Humility, therefore, is not about hiding our gifts away, but is rather about knowing ourselves more fully, knowing the gifts that God has given us, and acting within the limits of those gifts. Not going beyond who we are, not trying to be someone we are not, but rather fully being who God has created us to be. Our readings give us some practical advice on doing so. We hear from that beautiful book of Sirach, "My child, conduct your affairs with humility, and you will be loved more than a giver of gifts. Humble yourself the more, the greater you are, and you will find favor with God." Here's the advice. "What is too sublime for you, seek not. Into things beyond your strength, search not. What is too sublime for you, seek not. What is beyond your strength, search not." So we have to know what our strength is. We have to know what is indeed too sublime for us, so that we might know the limits of where we can and ought to act. Jesus, in the gospel, gives more practical advice. Talks about when you're invited to a banquet, don't take the high seat of honor, but rather take the lowest seat, and allow the master of the banquet to invite you to a higher one. Yes, indeed, sometimes finding our own limits, it's helpful to hear from others, to sort of aim low, and allow others to recognize in us the gifts that we have, and call us to something higher. It's a little thing, a practical thing, but it helps us to find that true humility. But when we are called higher, when others recognize the gifts in us, it's our duty to respond in kind, not to sort of shy away and bashfully, "Oh, no, not me," but rather to truly embrace who God has created us to be and to live up to that. Because this, brothers and sisters, is true humility. Not hiding who we are or shying away from the great things that God has called us to do, but rather being realistic with who we are, knowing ourselves more fully and operating from within that. So pray for an increase in that virtue of humility, so that you might know yourself more fully and work for the goodness of the kingdom of God here on earth. God bless you today and always.